Hey, I'm Vinnie Pagano. I'm a writer and no-budget indie filmmaker here to give you 5 screenwriting tips for the new year. I've been writing short and feature-length screenplays since 2009. I've written over 50 shorts and I produced and directed over 15 of them. I've also written 21 feature-length scripts, one of which was a finalist in the 2020 Save the Cat Screenplay Challenge. I turned my 19th feature script into my first feature film. The trail ends here. If you're a new writer looking to write your first feature screenplay, here are some helpful tips that I learned along the way. Tip number 1, let your idea simmer. If you're going to write a 90-page screenplay, it's going to take a lot of your time, and it's probably good practice to not write the first idea that pops into your head, unless you give that idea time to simmer. I shot my first feature at the end of 2024 into early 2025, but I came up with the idea for the movie around 2021. I didn't write the script until early 2024. I'm not saying you have to wait 3 full years, but I am saying you probably don't want to be typing fade in as soon as you think of your idea. Quick sidebar, you don't ever need to write fade in. This might sound a little crazy, but you might want to consider writing down your idea and then seeing if the idea ever leaves you. I feel like the best ideas to pursue are the ones that won't leave you alone. If you jot down an idea and you're still thinking about it a few months later, there's probably something to it. Tip number 2, consult with a pro. Obviously, each screenplay can involve some type of research given the subject you're writing about, especially if you're not familiar with the subject matter. But aside from internet research, you can and should consult with a professional whose occupation is relevant to the main character or characters in your script. Let's say you're writing a script where the protagonist is a lawyer. Unless you went to law school or one of the people who raised you was a lawyer, most of what you probably know about lawyers has come from other movies or TV shows. If you can, try to seek out an actual lawyer, whether it's a friend, an old classmate, or family member, or just someone who knows someone who's a lawyer that might be willing to let you pick their brain. Chances are, if you're considerate, they'll agree to a phone call and you can ask them a few questions. I wrote a script many years ago that involved flight, and I had a 30-minute conversation with a helicopter pilot that was incredibly helpful. Readers are sharp and can sense if you're regurgitating shit from other movies and shows. Tip number 3, the thinner the better. Screenplays, unlike dicks, are better when they're thinner. That's not to say you can't write a good screenplay that has a higher page count, but when you're starting out, you don't want to be writing something super lengthy. When I wrote my first feature script back in 2010, it was a 113-page time travel period piece. An actor buddy of mine recently told me about a writer friend of his who was working on his first feature, and it was over 120 pages.
With all due respect, what the f***?
If you're writing your very first script, it is highly unlikely that it will be at the level of a Paul Thomas Anderson script. Just trust me, if you're gonna ask someone to read your screenplay and you hand them a script that is over 120 pages, there will be blood. Tip number 4, keep your page as white as possible. No, this does not mean write a movie about white people. Check this out. I know, right? Visual f***ing nightmare. Try to keep your action writing to a minimum of 2 lines. If you ask someone to read your script and it looks like this,
may God have mercy on your soul.
Tip number 5, don't let anyone important read it. But Vinny, I've just written a 21st century Citizen Kane. I have to send it to every producer in the industry. You don't, and you shouldn't. I'm not saying you can't write a really good first feature script, but what I am saying is that you probably won't. That doesn't mean you'll never write something good. It's more that good things take time, and good writing takes years. Do you remember that 113-page time travel period piece I mentioned earlier? Back in late 2010, I sent it to a producer I met through a personal contact. The producer thanked me for sharing it and said he looked forward to reading it. After 2 weeks of silence, I followed up one more time and never heard from him again. Now, it's very possible he was incredibly busy and didn't have time to read it. Or, the more likely scenario is that he opened the PDF and went,
What the f***?
I'd like to hear about your writing journey, so drop me a comment and please subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.